So High Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with
Noah Floersch.
And we're some questions today about his upcoming album, Francis Aquarius. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you personally feel about the album since at the time of recording it is not announced yet?
Yeah. First off, thanks. I'm stoked about it. I love this music. It's a bunch of tunes that I've been working on for a super long time. It's kind of like the culmination of the past. I've been saying like a year and a half, but it really at this point is like the past 2 years of my life. And it's I don't know, quasi autobiographical. It's quasi like this other guy that I've named and have separated from myself, but it very much is still me. I don't know. It's an interesting record. It's really fun, and I've taken a lot of risks on it, I think, which is exciting, but also scary. So I hope people like it.
Yeah.
At this point, the music's done, so I'm like, we're about to find out.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're throwing it out there and hoping for the best. But
yeah,
the album was really cool. I got to listen to it this morning. I really dug it.
Great.
Yes,
okay.
I also enjoyed it. I love this type of shit. It scratched that itch. I really enjoyed it.
Great. Okay, that's awesome. That's great that you guys have gotten to listen to it. Okay, lovely. I'm glad you liked it. Shoot. Okay, right on. I don't want to put you on the spot, but like, did we mark some favorites? Did we have a song or two that like spoke?
The second track was my favorite.
Yes. Wild Thing. Yeah.
Yes,
oh,
I was thinking about it for the rest of the record because it just kept playing in my head.
Okay.
So yeah,
I love that song. I really do love that song. I'm very proud of that one.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm curious about you mentioned the last 2 years, just to get a rough idea of the timeline when you started working on the record writing process and when you had the masters in hand, rough dates, just to get the full scope of everything.
Yeah, can I take you on a bit of a tangent first?
Let's do it.
Please.
Okay, so when I put together a project, and this isn't like unique to me, I think this is like a pretty common thing. I'm a pretty like prolific writer. I think a lot of artists and writers tend to make a lot of material that like never really sees the light of day. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, you kind of wait for things to bubble to the top as far as like quality is concerned, or fill in a particular space as far as like a vibe is concerned, or a space that you like to like tackle basically. Mm-hmm. So some of the early songs, like the earliest songs written on this record, are like 3 years old, 2.5, 3 years old, and like didn't really exist in a space until the space existed for them. You ever seen like I use this example every now and again, and sometimes it hits and sometimes it doesn't. But have you ever seen like an astrophysicist explaining how gravity warps space-time by like stretching out a blanket and like putting a big ball in the middle, and then like throwing marbles or like smaller balls into it, and like you kind of see like the little orbit happen, and then they kind of roll into the. Anyways, I think like when you get a pocket of songs that are like that have a bit of gravity to them, like that exist in a particular space, suddenly they like have this draw. So you write other songs, and you see what kind of like starts to exist in like this solar system or that solar system, this pocket of songs versus this pocket of songs. Sometimes there are like songs that like orbit both, and it's like which is the better fit, and blah blah blah. So about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I had a big enough pocket of songs. It was like 3 or 4 songs. The oldest ones in this pocket were Airway and To Be Around, which are like the 2 last songs on the album, because like in its initial stage, the album felt very different. But those 2 were like the biggest, I don't know, centers of gravity. And all these other songs sort of like coalesced into that space. But it went from being this sort of like quasi explorative, like me, I don't know, moving away from home, like come to terms with like a bit more of like a secular life, when I was like raised super Catholic, like there was all this kind of like whatever, and it's not really that anymore. It's become this like like I said before, semi-autobiographical, like semi-other guy situation of the last, I don't know, year and a half of kind of just like debauchery and shitty situationships and drinking too much and all these like all the chaos that that behavior kind of like brings into your life. It kind of like, I don't know, it made a lot of material to write music about.
Absolutely.
You know, there was a lot of shit to cover. There was a lot of shit to cover. And so when I would go into like these co-writes, which I'd never really done before this record, I had a lot of stuff that I had to talk about, and it kind of just like coalesced into this thing. Now, Francis Aquarius, the title came to me as a pretty logical progression from my last project. So my last album was called Noah. This project, which is my first name, and it was a very beautiful. Like I like that music a lot. It's like very headphones on, you listen alone. It's lovely music. It's great. I wanted to make some stuff that was a little bit more bumping, that moved the body a little bit more. That was like you were able to listen in the car with your friends, or like put it on like the playlist at like a kickback, and it didn't like kill the vibe. Like I wanted to make some stuff that moved a little bit more. So that was a big goal too. So the album kind of like compressed out of like a couple different angles into what it is now, which I'm sure is not unique to me. I think like a lot of albums sort of like reveal themselves in ways like that, or bodies of work. But that's just how it happened for me.
Gotcha.
That
makes
is
sense.
so wonderful. Okay, so you brought up the album title. So is there any meaning behind that? And then also tying in the cover art as well.
Yes. Okay. I forgot to finish that. Thank you for keeping me on track. I go on tangents, so thanks for roping me back in.
That's what podcasts were made for, man.
That's right. That's right. We love long form.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anybody who yaps loves.
Exactly.
But yeah. Okay. So the first album, Noah, beautiful, lovely. Francis Aquarius. Francis is my middle name, and Aquarius is my sign. And so, but it sounds like a guy. Like it sounds like a person. It sounds like a weird name for somebody else. And so it was nice to like compartmentalize all this like loser shit I'm singing about in this album, because you do listen to the album, and like even like a song like Wild Thing, it is fun and it is bumping. The speaker, the singer, loser. That guy is a loser. He's 100% a loser. And like I think that's so fun, but it's also like, damn, that shit chips away at you after a while. So you do have to, it's nice to like compartmentalize, put it somewhere else, put it on like this shadow self, or like other version of me. And so, I mean, the logical thing, like whatever the next album is, it's got to be Floersch. It's got to be like I don't know, a final, not my last album, but like the end of
that
whatever
trilogy.
Yeah, whatever this thing is. Yeah. Anyways, that's where we're at right now.
So that's the name, and then the cover art. Is there any kind of meaning behind that?
Yeah, to me, like this album is like so yellow. Not, I don't really have, what do they call it? Like synesthesia or whatever. I don't got that. But
it's fun to imagine.
Yeah, I mean, it sure feels yellow to me. So it was nice when we found that little field that we shot that cover, and we found that, we were like, oh, this is gonna be great, because this is like exactly the vibe, and blah blah blah. But the chaos that's kind of just like shown there, it's like chaotic but also kind of ethereal. I think it like does a good job of like, I don't know, capturing, I don't know, a bit of like whatever this fall from grace is. Yeah.
Gotcha. So can you tell us a little bit about the writing process for the album?
Yeah. So I mentioned this kind of briefly in a previous ramble, but I co-wrote a lot of the music on this project, which is not foreign to me. It's something I've been doing for a couple of years now, and I love it. I love that process. But this is certainly like the first like full project where almost everything was co-written, and so that comes with a lot of unique challenges. A lot of these songs are written with a producer in the room, and that might be the only co-writer, or there might be another co-writer as well, which means that as I'm writing lyrics and as I'm writing melodies, there is production work happening that I'm not monitoring. There's production work that's happening well, I guess I am. I'm in the room,
Yeah.
but like that, I'm not like
zoned in on
yeah,
full attention.
because I'm trying to figure out the words and I'm trying to figure out the
Exactly.
melodies, and so you know,
Yeah.
it's interesting to like share that responsibility, but it's also interesting how, because for me, like traditionally, I'm writing at like keys or guitar, and I'm alone, and it takes a while, and it's like this kind of thing.
Mhm.
With another writer and with like a producer in the room, things speed along a bit quicker. Things develop in ways that you wouldn't really expect because you have other voices in the room, which is great. I love that. I love that collaborative process. I think is actually super, super lovely. But it becomes it's like a new discipline to still keep the thing true to you as like an artist. So like you have to be able to say no to certain things. You have to be able to steer the ship in a lot of ways, and that's a difficult thing. I think that's a super difficult thing for a lot of like singer songwriters who start to co-write. Being able to speak up for yourself in like a creative situation, or like trust your gut over another writer who's been doing this for 20 years, you know, whatever. That's like a difficult thing. And what it does boil down to, though, like if you are writing for yourself, if you are writing for your artist project, you have to be able to be the decision maker in like a lot of ways. And so that's something like I didn't know that right away. That was something that like took some getting used to, but was like a very important part in writing this album, like being able to say, no, I know that this will fit into this space better. I know that this line will fit into this space better. And then the final thing I'll say about just kind of like the co-writing thing is, as these tracks are being built and as I'm writing the melodies and the lyrics, whatever, they're informing each other in ways that me figuring out the melody at a piano or figuring out words in guitar, like the soundscape that you get from like a producer will often inform what you're writing and what you're saying, and vice versa. So it's interesting how embedded some of these songs are and how difficult it is to like strip them down when like I want to play them live at like solo at keys or solo at guitar. It becomes a much trickier thing to do, to find an authentic way to play them, to translate for, I don't know, short form content or whatever. So that's been like a difficult thing for this project, is like finding ways to game that without like bastardizing the song, basically. Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway,
so how have you managed to kind of find that happy medium? Have you managed to find that happy medium with kind of just simplifying it without losing like the overall character of the song?
In ways that have satisfied my own brain, yes. In ways that have satisfied the algorithm overlords, not even close, baby. Not even close.
Well, that's a losing game anyways, man.
It can be. I certainly think that there is a way to do it, because people do it and they do it well.
True.
I am certainly like a student of the social media game. Like this is like the world I grew up in. And it's tricky, and it's am I allowed to swear?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a bitch sometimes, dude. It sucks. Like I'm coming out of like in the last like week and a half, I'm like coming out of like a month long just like depression spell because I can't get a video to do well. I still have not like really popped in any particular way in a while, which is frustrating because student of the game, born into this shit. But like at some point you just got to be like, fuck it, dude, I'm gonna post anyways. Like it is what it is. Like Sisyphus got to be happy, that kind of situation. Like you just gotta keep going. So no, still trying to game it out. And it's tricky. It really is. So like rocking a hard place, because what works for me is like playing shit live at the piano, or with like just me and solo guitar. That's like, for whatever reason, what works best on my page, always has. And I get a lot of pressure to do from a lot of different sides, internal as well, to try and spice that up. And we'll put money behind a videographer and we'll shoot some stuff, and it just doesn't do well. And it's like, man, give me my iPhone and my piano and and let me shoot this for free and do 10 of them. And so that's kind of the game I'm on right now. Like, just kind of doing it me style. Cause we've been going since like, January promoting a lot of stuff. And it's like, the solo stuff is like really the only stuff that's popping.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's hard out there, man.
It's hard out here. It's hard out here, dude. It really is. It really is not easy. But I don't know. You guys talk to a ton of people. I'm sure you hear this from just about everybody.
Well, yeah,
you know?
I'm currently living it because I work with bands. I'm an artist manager as well, and I have an artist in the midst of an album cycle where the first record, our success came from TikTok, and this time around they just cannot figure it out. They cannot get anything to pop. They're doing the same thing that they were doing with the last record cycle. And it's just not performing the way it was because algorithms have changed. Attention spans have gotten shorter. The same, professional grade content worked a couple years ago, and now people want iPhone footage, but they only want it to look a certain kind of way. That's what the algorithm favors. So we hear it from both sides, all over the place, all the time, because it fucking sucks for artists in this age.
Right. And the final thing I'll say is, we could talk about this for
this could be
This conversation could make me late to work.
There you go.
The final thing I'll say is, we'll probably talk about this for a while, but the other thing that like makes it difficult is how saturated it is now.
Yes.
I mean, this is a stat from like 2 years ago, but there are like 30,000 songs getting uploaded to Spotify a day. Now, a lot of people are not promoting their shit on TikTok, but let's say 10% are, and they're posting at least 10 to 20 videos of one of these songs. You know what I mean? It's so busy now. And honestly, like as a consumer, like as a user of the app, 8 or 9 times out of 10, I am scrolling past the music video. Dude, I am here for
funny
marble
videos.
Racing.
Yeah.
Funny videos.
I'm here for non-music related things.
Yeah. It's literally, that's it, dude. Because like, that's my life right now is like making these videos that like, whatever. It is what it is. But it's frustrating, dude. It's frustrating.
Absolutely. Damn. So back to the record and not social media stress. Is there a particular song off the album that took the longest to write, and do you have a personal favorite?
The longest to write, I think probably the longest to write was let me look at the track list here because I'm thinking it was Nobody's Ever Gonna Love You. Just because it took a couple of sessions to figure out how we wanted to end the thing. And we ended up just doing a strange outro, which I'm a big sucker for just like going somewhere else at the end of the song. And this is certainly one of those. But it took us a while to like figure that out. It also took us a while to like lock in a particular like groove and feel for that thing. I will say though, that was like the longest to write just because it was spaced out over like a couple different sessions and a couple different trips to LA. I think the hardest one to produce was Somebody Nobody Gets Over, which was like the easiest song written. Like me and Asia Whiteacre wrote Somebody Nobody Gets Over in like an hour. And it's like 2 chords on the guitar. It's so easy. And we wrote it, and the lyric and the melody are so strong. And when it came to produce the thing, it was like this very delicate thing where we were like, we don't want to overshadow what is already great about like this voice memo that we have from the right. Like we already know that this is really, really lovely. How do we get this down without like killing the magic. I think we did a good job with it, but it was like me and James Flanagan, the guy who produced it out, did a lot of back and forth for weeks trying to figure out how exactly we wanted it to fit. As far as a favorite, come on now. What is this? I can't pick a favorite. I really can't.
Yeah.
I love all these songs so much, and I love them for like different reasons too. Like Wild Thing is probably like the funnest track to me, but that doesn't make it my favorite. My Bad is like the cool, like it's probably like one of the cooler tracks. It's like the one that like gets me like a lot of like nods from other musicians, because it's like got some cool, it's not like difficult or anything, but it's got like some swagger to it.
Yeah, some
yeah, okay.
No, I wasn't. I was just adding on. I was excited with you.
You're making fun of me, huh? You're making fun of me, Nick? No, I'm playing. Yeah, I don't know. There's like Airway is like it touches the soul in a particular kind of way, and it like came together in like a very funny way to me. So I don't know. I love these songs. I love all these songs. It's hard to pick a favorite just like objectively, but there are songs that do jobs, and they do them well. So
fair enough.
Yeah. So how did the track list for the album come about? Did you write the opening for the opener, close to be a closer, shuffle and see what fits? What was that process like?
I think we knew pretty early on that Airway was going to be the closer. I mentioned this before, but that was like one of the first songs on the project, and it like stayed the longest. There were a lot of songs that like cycled in to the track list that eventually got pushed out by better songs and this and that, or songs that just like fit the vibe better. But I think we knew from pretty early on that Airway was the exit music. And I also knew relatively early on that Fatal Feminine was going to start the project off, because it sort of I don't know, it feels like the first song on a record in a lot of ways. There's like kind of like this stabby intro where like you hear some music, it goes away for a second, you hear some music again, it goes away for a second. Like that's like I don't know, in like a musical theater or like a movie score kind of a way, it like is like, okay, here I am. It's like peeking up from behind the curtain and being like, oh my god, there's a lot of people out there, and they go, or something like that. Just feels like the beginning of the show in a lot of ways. As far as how things shuffled through the rest of that, a lot of it comes down to like, how does this song feel after this song? In my mind, like that's how a lot of like my track lists get ordered. It's more just like, if I were to listen to the thing down, where does this make the most sense? Because we'll pick our singles just based on what we think is going to do well, but it doesn't really matter anymore where they're at on a record. If this was back in like proper vinyl times and we wanted an A side and a B side, we would do that, but like that's not really the case here. It's more just like what feels good flowing into this, into this, into this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense. And would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating the record? I know you mentioned a little bit earlier, but if you want, you can go a bit more in depth.
Yeah. I mean, I had a lot of this writing happened like during and in between tours last year. So I opened for Ricky Montgomery in February and March of last year. That was such a fun tour. And it was also like my first tour. And it was like 26 shows. And it also we were opening, so like our responsibilities were like relatively limited. And yeah, I don't know, me and the boys got after it in a lot of ways. Like we were drinking a lot and having a good time. And that's great. I think like going on tour and like doing, I don't know, debaucherous shit is like cool and fun and like part of the thing. But at the same time, it's like, damn, I'm drinking a lot every show day. Like I'm having like a beer at sound check. I'm having like a beer or two before the show. I'm having a shot on stage. I'm having a drink before I go do meet and greet because that's something. And then like maybe having a beer after the show because I'm tired. You know, so it's like it adds up. It adds up over 26 shows. So it's certainly not sustainable, like that kind of touring, whatever. But shit, it sure is fun. So I was in that for like 4 months, 3 or 4 months out of like last year, because I did that, and then I had a headline tour in the fall, and with that just comes a lot, and then also just like being in town here and there and being really busy, like that's just like breeding grounds for situationships and not good I don't know, personal choices. So I'm writing all this music in this time where when I'm playing shows and I'm like, damn, I want some music that like fucking bangs at these shows. I want some shit that like gets the heads moving, and people singing along. And so that like informed some of like the sonic space. But a lot of lyrical content comes from feeling like over it in a lot of ways, feeling like, okay, I'm not crazy about like this version of myself. I'm not like, it's fun. It sure is fun. And I think the album is super fun. But if you read the lyrics, it's like, yeah, this guy is a loser. And it's funny like that, how that can become like a self-fulfilling thing too. You know, you write 30 songs about being a loser, and suddenly you really feel like a loser all the time. You know what I mean? So
right, yeah.
It like cycled in on itself in a way that was great for the music and in a way that was like not great for me. So when we finally got the track list like really, really solid, like the next like 3 or 4 songs I wrote were like these like lovely outdoorsy like acousticy like I'm good. I'm better
Promise
now.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Got it all out of my system.
Yeah. That's really how it felt in a lot of ways. So there was certainly like it's so funny how the mentality shifted once it was just like time to record the music and the writing was done in a lot of ways. So yeah, there was certainly like a space and a vibe, and it was just kind of like debaucherous, you know, middle 20 something loser, but make it fun. So that's
hey, make it fun.
Make it fun. So this question should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words, no more, no less.
Fun, quick, surprising.
Ooh,
those are good.
Lovely.
Yeah, I feel like when you go down the track list, you end up in like sonic spaces you don't really expect to. One, just like based off like some of my previous stuff, like coming in with Fatal Feminine and Wild Thing, it's like what the but then ending on a song like Airways, like they're just very different spaces. It's a pretty broad album sonically. I think it's super fun. I think that like makes it interesting to listen to down. Anyways, that was too many words.
I was going to say, that's a lot of...
Sorry, I did not. I elaborated and I shouldn't.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm inclined to agree with you, though. The sheer amount of sonics is what makes the album so interesting to listen to, how dynamic it is. That's the word I was looking for.
There you go.
Yeah.
Found it.
Yeah.
Okay, can I change one of mine to dynamic?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Jesus. And are you able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments during the creation of the album, positive or negative?
Yeah, I mean, I touched on it a little bit, but the mental health side of things and like working and reworking music that came from like a bit of a difficult space is not an easy thing to do. And then on top of that, once the music is done, promoting it and listening to these songs over and over and over again. It's not easy. It's not easy. I think if it were, everybody would do it. I think the most difficult part of it right now, it is not really in the creation at this point. It's just like getting ears on the thing. That's like, in my mind, the biggest goal of mine for the next like 3 months is just to like get people excited about this thing, because I really think that the music is great. I really believe in the music. It's just a matter of getting people to hear it.
That is the big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And for this last question, I want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Easy. I get, because like I'm really not snacking in the car unless I'm driving.
Okay.
So I'm getting tropical Red Bull, and I'm getting some sunflower seeds, and I'm getting an empty foam cup for my seeds.
There
and I'm
you
ripping
go.
that. Yeah, that keeps me locked in. So if I'm driving the van, that's my go-to.
Yeah,
that's solid. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Go listen to Francis Aquarius if it's out, and if it's not out, go. There will probably be a pre-save
somewhere.
I hope so.
There better be. So go pre-save it if it's not out, and if it is out, go listen to it. And thanks, you guys. This was just a lovely conversation. So yeah.
Of course.
This is awesome.
Well, thank you. It's been Noah Floersch, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.